Security information and event management systems act as a digital perimeter, scanning massive traffic volumes. Yet, a dark stream slips past these automated defenses unnoticed. But automated security tools share a structural limitation. They rely on predefined logic and established rules. They are strictly reactive. If an attack methodology has not been previously categorized and flagged by the vendor, the algorithm will ignore it. Advanced Persistent Threats, or APTs, exploit this exact limitation. Highly resourced attackers design custom malware and novel lateral movement techniques specifically to evade algorithmic detection. This reality forces security teams to operate under a specific, mandatory assumption. Perimeter defenses will fail, and the network is already compromised. Relying entirely on software to detect adversaries creates a dangerous blind spot in your security architecture. Closing that gap requires a shift toward a human-led, proactive defense model. This proactive model is called threat hunting. It is the active, continuous search by human analysts for hidden intrusions that have bypassed automated defenses. The immediate obstacle is scale. Networks generate billions of logs across tens of thousands of endpoints. Human analysts cannot manually evaluate every process running across an entire global infrastructure. When security teams hunt by aimlessly scrolling through raw logs, they experience alert fatigue. The human eye glosses over critical anomalies hidden in the noise. Successful threat hunting demands rigorous prioritization. Security teams must aggressively narrow their search space before a hunt ever begins. To narrow that scope, defenders must rank the specific assets that an adversary would actually target. We isolate those high-value objectives using a process called crown jewel analysis. This matrix visualizes crown jewel analysis. We plot an organization's varying IT assets along the x-axis and measure the total operational and financial impact if those assets are compromised on the y-axis. Consider a standard DNS server. It is critical for daily operations, but enterprise networks build these servers with heavy redundancy and backup protocols. A compromised DNS server disrupts traffic, but the financial and reputational impact remains relatively low on the y-axis. Now compare that to payroll data or a proprietary source code repository. If an attacker exfiltrates this data, the financial penalty and loss of customer trust are catastrophic. These peak assets are the true crown jewels. Once the crown jewels are identified, security teams perform threat modeling. They map the specific network pathways, credential requirements, and vulnerabilities an external attacker would need to exploit to reach that exact high-value target. Scoring assets according to business risk and mapping their specific vulnerabilities drastically reduces the digital search space. This gives human analysts a precise starting point for their investigation. This circular flowchart illustrates the threat hunting lifecycle, a strict 5-stage framework. The operation begins here, at Stage 1, hypothesis-driven hunting. Analysts use the output from the crown jewel analysis to form a precise hypothesis. For example, an analyst assumes an attacker has compromised a lower-level admin account and is currently attempting lateral movement toward the payroll server. In Stage 2, data collection and enrichment, the team pulls all telemetry relevant to that specific hypothesis. They gather endpoint logs and authentication records, enriching them with external context like IP geolocations or domain reputation data. Stage 3 is detection and analysis. Analysts manually query the enriched dataset, looking for statistical outliers, unusual authentication times, or specific command line executions that the automated CM failed to flag. This structured, hypothesis-driven approach is what separates proactive hunting from reactive alert chasing. It allows humans to apply intuition to patterns that algorithms are not programmed to recognize. We see this methodology applied in the field. A national telecommunications organization had heavily invested in industry-standard SIEM and endpoint detection tools, but their internal analysts suspected an intrusion had slipped past the perimeter. Rather than scouring the entire network, the threat hunting team formulated a targeted hypothesis around their specific communication infrastructure. They restricted their search entirely to DNS logs, looking for subtle anomalies in outbound traffic. Deep within the DNS telemetry, analysts found a pattern algorithms ignored: a faint outbound connection, known as beaconing, reaching out to an unclassified domain. Correlating that single beaconing event uncovered a highly sophisticated advanced persistent threat. The attacker had bypassed the primary defenses and established a foothold, quietly waiting for further instructions. If the team had relied strictly on the SIEM, the system would have remained silent. Because they executed a targeted, hypothesis-driven hunt, they found the attacker before any critical data was stolen. The exact moment an analyst confirms a positive threat, the hunt concludes, and the operational objective instantly shifts from detection to containment. This triggers Stage 4, response and mitigation. The hunting team immediately hands off their findings to incident response personnel to isolate the compromised endpoints and block the attacker's lateral movement. The division of labor here is deliberate. The threat hunter's job is to apply investigative logic to find the hidden threat. The incident responder's job is to execute the tactical procedures required to eliminate it. The final phase is Stage 5, learning and sharing. The threat hunting team documents the attacker's specific techniques and the newly discovered indicators of compromise, feeding that data directly back into the SIEM and EDR platforms. This feedback loop provides a significant return on investment. The intelligence extracted by a human analyst today updates the automated algorithms, ensuring the software will instantly block that same attack methodology tomorrow. In many security operations, the boundaries between penetration testing, threat hunting, and incident response are dangerously blurred. This lack of clear operational distinction often leads to misallocated budgets and critical security gaps. We plot these across an attack timeline in 3 zones: before the attack, dwell time, and after an alert. Penetration testing proactively tests the before-attack phase. Incident response reacts after alert. Threat hunting occupies the center, exclusively reducing dwell time before alerts trigger. Failing to fund threat hunting leaves the longest and most critical phase of a cyber attack entirely unmonitored. True cybersecurity maturity requires the seamless integration of all 3 disciplines: testing the perimeter, hunting within the network, and responding to confirmed breaches. Crown Jewel analysis sits at the absolute foundation of this triad. It guarantees that business logic dictates technical execution, ensuring that analysts always hunt near the assets that matter most. Defending an entire global infrastructure with equal intensity is logistically and financially impossible. By isolating the crown jewels, organizations deploy their finite security budgets with precision. Algorithms process data at scale, but lack intuition. When adversaries bypass logical rules with custom code, the only effective countermeasure is human intellect. Digital sovereignty is not just about buying the best automated tools. It is about knowing precisely what data is worth protecting and empowering human analysts to actively hunt those who seek to take it.